Welcome back, people. It is episode 11 of season 4 of the Taxi Squad podcast. We are recording on March 13th. It is going to be listened to on March 14th, which, of course, like every week, is a Thursday.
Yay!
This week we got some strange and unusual. Some baseball players are touching weird places. Also, LeBron James and adultery. We also have some baseball trade talk, hot stove. We got some NCAA discussions. We also have NBA and NFL free agency frenzy is upon us, and a brand new Bears Corner. It's the Taxi Squad podcast.
Come on, everybody, celebrate. The Taxi Squad is here today. So lose the blues, kick back and relax for now. They talk about sports and stupid stuff. They're probably wrong and it might get rough. So welcome back, it's the Taxi Squad, yeah.
Vince, how the hell are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm feeling good. I don't know if I was on I was last week with the hair. My hair's looking good again, dude. I'm getting it's like the winter, the lack of humidity is making it shine a little bit. I'm feeling like a hot guy. I don't know about you.
I mean, Vince, you look like you could be a part of a fucking doo-wop group right now.
Fine with me.
I don't know if you're seeing this hair right now. I mean, this guy looks like he could be standing on a street corner in 1952, just shoobity bopping.
You should meet my friend Frankie Valley, let me tell you.
Yeah. Now, Vince would be right there on the street corner, rolling dice, eating gabagool sandwiches in the middle of Jersey or wherever
How
he
you
would be.
How you done?
How you done? No, man, that hair is fleeking today.
Thanks,
Yeah,
dude.
I mean,
Trying
hey,
to be
you can't-
on fleek. I'm doing good, though,
Yeah.
dude. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm great. I'm currently in the middle of a 72-hour fast. So, trying to cut some of this, winter coat that I got going. So I'm feeling good. I'm fresh. I'm clear-minded. I'm ready to rock and roll, brother.
I love to hear that.
I'm feeling good. It was a busy day, yet productive day. And now I'm here doing what we love to do. So, yeah.
Now you get
Life's
to
good, man.
fulfill your passion, my friend, by talking about sports.
Get to talk about sports with my brother.
That's me.
All right. So, Vince, you sent this to me earlier on the strange and unusual front, and Aroldis Chapman
What the
is doing
fuck?
some very odd things on the Instagram/Twitter. So why don't you kind of explain what he's doing when he's not pitching baseballs?
I don't know if I can, dude. This video. So I woke up today and I was like, why is Aroldis Chapman trending? What could he possibly be doing? My mind went to the worst. Is he back in another domestic dispute? Sort of, I guess, if you look at it that way. There's a video of Aroldis Chapman laying down on a couch next to his mom, according to the reports after that. He's hugging her in a way that he's reachable to her upper regions, otherwise known as boobs.
Her
And
breasts?
he kind of squeezed them and shook them around and shit. I don't know how to explain it without just getting all goofy right now because it's so
Well, no, I
weird,
mean, let's
bro.
call a spade a spade. He's playing with his mom's tits. It's weird.
What the fuck is going on?
Send me the video. I woke up immediately. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, jump scare for the morning. Aroldis Chapman.
Ugh.
Well, someone said it was grip training.
Oh. It was very like a ha funny moment, and
Yeah.
I'm like, is that his mom? Does he have like an old lady granny fetish thing going on? I mean, you never know with these ball players. You really never know.
I wouldn't put it against him to
It's
have an old
odd.
lady fetish. I wonder if this is a cultural thing. Like, is it cool to just go up and grab your mom's boobs in different cultures?
I don't know, man. It sounds horrific to me.
It is
I think it's the
wild.
last thing you'd ever want to think about as a grown ass man.
think
But
I've-
it's kind of like
I think I've watched it 3 times now, and every time I'm just like, why? What's going? Like, what is?
yeah, like it kind of gives you the heebie-jeebs,
Yeah. I don't. There's no other way around it. I'm kind of just like, she doesn't look like she's enjoying it. he decided to post it on his Instagram story. The whole thing is just so fucking weird to me, man. It's so weird.
Very pause-worthy, and, gives you that same vibe of like that kid who's a little too old to be breastfeeding.
You ever
right?
watch Game of
It's
Thrones?
No.
Well,
I watched
the
one
people
episode
that
of that.
do
I
watch
know there's
the
a
Game
lot
of
of
Thrones.
cousin
listen to
fucking.
this. Yeah, this is not what it is. There is a kid, and I forgot his name, but he actually grew up to be quite a handsome man in the grand scheme of things. But there's a kid on Game of Thrones where him and his mom, because his dad died, they live in this kingdom, and he's just sucking teat. Like, till he was like 12 or 13 or something in the show, and it's just like,
Yeah.
ugh. And this actually comparatively gave me the same reaction, where I was like, you gotta stop that. You're not allowed to play with those anymore. You've aged
Knock
out.
it off. Knock it off.
You've aged out here, Aroldis. So yeah, Aroldis Chapman's kind of like that one kid in Game of Thrones that was sucking teat at an old age.
Yeah, like I said, it just gives it similar vibe. And, there are some like very granola-esque families out there that still believe that like, oh, it just keeps him close to me. It's like, listen, Linda, he's 7 and is in organized sports now. He can't be coming home from the ball game sucking on your tits. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird. It's just weird. It's odd.
Aroldis Chapman is a 36-year-old man. And yeah, I again don't know if it's his mom. I'm gonna put money down that it is. But Daily Mail, New York Post, Barstool, TMZ, all of them got it. Daily Mail: Aroldis Chapman gropes and kisses an elderly woman's breast. That's exactly what's happening in the video.
Is it his mom though? Is it once again either it's his mother or he has like a super old lady fetish or something?
Shows him cozying up on a couch with a woman who resembles his mom, Maria Caridad de la Cruz, is what it says. So at the least resembles her. Oh, there's another picture of him like reaching across her chest in a weird way. I don't know how much deeper I want to go into this.
How much out of bounds? How much craziness are we going to see? I mean, it's pretty interesting.
Maybe if you're from Cuba, you're able to just grab your mom's boob. But yeah, I wouldn't even want to. Like, what's going on?
Missile crisis? Groping mom's tits.
Well, you could say that his arm is the missile and attaching to the boob is the crisis. That's the Cuban Missile Crisis.
It's so gross in so many ways. Let's keep it moving. All right, so LeBron James is recently in the news for the simple fact that some white women are cozying up.
He's a hot piece of ass, that LeBron James, right now.
I mean, he's notably been with the same woman since he's been in high school, right?
You could still be a hot. Oh yeah, you could still be a hot piece of ass though. Supposedly he's been like the perfect encompassment, whatever the term would be for a husband. Like he's been good. We're not going to know everything about that.
So he's not out there banging strangers,
right? That's the idea.
Got it.
But in this clip that we saw of LeBron courtside, I believe I might have been at the Lakers game when he was sitting out. I'm not sure. He was sitting next to Lakers now owner, correct?
Yeah.
Jeannie Buss is the owner. And then Kurt Rambis' wife, who Kurt Rambis also helps in the front office of the team. Her name is Linda Rambis. And they were sitting on both sides of the aforementioned LeBron James. Mind you, LeBron James is 39 years old. Jeannie Buss, I believe, is 70. If I'm not mistaken, she was born in, so 62. So I was a little off. But regardless.
She's close.
He, for what it's worth, reading body language, he was very upright. He kept his posture. He was very much looking towards the road, chatting a little bit. That's fine. Linda, and Jeannie on both sides were like, ha, 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 LeBron, you're so funny. Arm touch, leg touch. They're just trying to see what LeBron's got cooking under that shit, dude. And if I'm LeBron and I'm not married,
he's about to get him some rich white women vibes.
Would is all I'm saying, dude.
Which one would you?
Both?
Which one?
I mean, I'm taking Jeannie Buss over everything, you know.
100%. 100%.
She looks
Jeannie gets it before anybody else.
She looks fucking amazing for 62. Let's be honest, and this isn't like an indictment against what they look like as much as it is like, still got it, LeBron. You still
Jeannie
got
Buss,
it.
like mid '80s, Jeannie Buss had to be a certified rocket. Like,
Oh,
there's
I thought
no
you were
doubt
saying
about it.
mid 80s. I'm like, well, I guess in 20 years, if she's still kicking, like, we're rocking.
No, I'm talking about the 1980s.
I know. I thought you were talking about in
20s.
her 80s. I'm like, bro,
No,
you're giving me real Aroldis Chapman vibes.
I was. I mean, really, the topic of discussion this entire podcast to kick this thing off in the strange and unusuals is just old women's tits.
Yeah,
let's
sorry
face
about that.
You're 60 plus. We didn't know, but here we are.
Whoopsie.
But LeBron was very cozy with him. I wonder what Savannah had to say. I don't know.
So, the first thing, LeBron did say Happy International Women's Day, excuse me. Which,
How do you know that's what he said?
because you can read his
He
lips.
said,
when
"I
he's
got the
speaking.
back of the Tahoe or the Kia.
Escalade.
You want a hot Escalade?
LeBron's
You
got
want
a
hot-
Kia in his garage that he pulls out when they ask him to do a quick little thing, and then he puts it right back in again.
Or
No.
that's what he calls his Pichade,
Hey, yo. The Kia? That
Hey,
kind
yeah.
of sucks. That's kind of a
Maybe.
bad name for it.
Just saying.
No, but he, I guess, said that to them, and then Jeannie Buss is like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, she got a little close.
She was just thankful. Phil
Making
Jackson
it
was in and on that shit.
Was Phil
Savannah
Jackson
probably.
was all about it.
Savannah probably doesn't love that. Savannah does know that they're paying him a lot of money, though. I think she's probably okay with this because he wasn't the one doing the touching. Other people were touching him. And I don't think she's like, hey, go speak off the owner of the Lakers. Like, it's not like, get off of me, woman, I'm married. Like, I don't think she's going to expect him to do that. Like, when he did that when they were like, LeBron, how's it feel to be a pussy bitch? And he's like, watch your mouth, woman.
Get them kicked out. Get them kicked out.
No. He said, watch your mouth, woman. He just walked into the locker room.
That's the only time he hasn't acted like the South bitch. All right. All right.
Okay.
Well, Vince,
Yeah.
before the show had started, I had received a text message.
Yeah.
We had discussed this on this
From
show.
who?
From you.
Oh, yeah.
And essentially, what that text message was saying was Dylan Cease of the Chicago White Sox is now San Diego Padre. And we have discussed it on the past. TLR said he'd probably last to the deadline, and that didn't happen. And here we are. So let's talk about it.
Let's do that. We knew he was going to get traded at some point. Boris Client, Chicago White Sox don't pay their players because they cry poor and they're a sad, stupid organization that pisses me off all the time. That we know.
Same.
The package we got back from the Padres is their number 5 prospect, Drew Thorpe, their number 7 prospect, Samuel Zavala, number 8 prospect, Jairo Iriarte, and a right-handed reliever, Steven Wilson. Not a great package. I don't want to get into the habit of overvaluing our guys, obviously, because you can get into that real easy. But part of me feels like they really just wanted to get him off the team. Because we discussed it earlier, and this was your brain trust more than mine, but why didn't they wait?
I don't see what the hurry was. I would have waited to the trade deadline. You probably would have got far more for him, especially if a team was on the hunt in the middle of something. Like, I don't get it. I mean,
it is a contract year, so we were going to get rid of him at some point. Let him just, get his arm going, and then hopefully his value goes up. His value is going to stay the same all offseason regardless.
I just don't see what the rush was if I'm Chris Getz. I don't get it. I don't get it. I am not in a hurry to trade him. I'm not. I believe ultimately this is a talent who should be your blue chip, essentially. He is your guy now that I'm going to hold on to until the very bitter end and get the max for, because this wasn't the only offer they received for him.
Oh, yeah.
And, last year at the trade deadline, the Orioles were in on him, and the Sox wanted Holiday. They wanted Jackson Holiday.
Nah,
That was going to be a part of it. And they were like, yeah, no, get Ben.
No shot.
So that didn't happen. Now, with everything being said about that, I think he could have waited, and a team like the Yankees or a team potentially in the hunt at the deadline would come in and pay a full price for him. I think you just felt the heat for whatever reason, and you wanted to get him off the books. To your point, they're in a hurry, and I think it just shows every White Sox fan listening to this, they're not competing.
And I mean, like, we knew that as much, but
even though TLR said, good old Tony La Russa explained that we might surprise some people this year.
Okay.
I got fucking news. We're not surprising people right now. We're going to lead into this year. Yeah. At this stage of the game, you know what? Trade Luis Robert while he has his max value.
We got him for a lot of years, though, dude. We got him for like 5 more years or something like that. I'd say keep him.
He will not be more valuable than what he will be at this.
Disagree.
Think?
He could play better than he played last year. He played really well last year, but you give him 1-2 more years and then he's MVP caliber. Like, yeah, I'll take that.
Well, you see the construction of it there. I hate to say it. By 2030, they may be in a hunt for the Central. Maybe.
Yeah, good.
You want to know what that's predicated off of?
Give us 6 years.
You want to know what that's predicated off of?
Prospects. Coaching,
but money. What else? What else?
Money. Spending money.
No. But what else?
Coaching?
A new ballpark on the South Loop of Chicago.
Okay.
Literally. That's
sounded like Bob. You sounded like Bob Rohrman on my TV on Saturdays. Bob Rohrman.
Hopefully not post-stroke Bob Rohrman, because Bob Rohrman would be on some of those commercials locally in Chicago and be like, "Hi, I'm Bob Rohrman. Buy a new Lexus."
That's fucked up.
I'm Bob Rohrman. Come down, buy a new Lexus. I have a best deal for you.
Man.
Bob,
he's
get
a
off
legend,
TV,
you know.
please.
It's kind of like it's kind of like Tyson fighting too long. I mean,
no, Bob Rohrman is a Chicago legend in many ways because he owned many dealerships and he was known for his goofy commercials.
And the Lion.
And the Lion, yeah, the Rohrman. And yeah, then
Bob Rohrman.
Notable womanizer on a local Chicago level.
Oh, what a boss. Not surprised, though. That's Bob
that
Rohrman.
Guy was slanging D in the 90s and 80s for sure.
Speaking of guys that can't put it down, whether it's doing commercials or fighting, and this is kind of a squirrel moment, Mike Tyson's fighting Jake Paul. Did you see this?
Yeah, it's just all about money, baby.
There's no way there's a knockout rule, right?
I think Mike Tyson at 52 years old may knock out Jake Paul.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, so who was it? Was it Mayweather and Logan Paul, where it was like no knockouts, like something like that? Like there was some rule about that.
All these fights anymore with the TikTokers and former Disney kids, I just can't fucking stand.
I mean, sure, but it's fucking Mike Tyson.
If you pay money to watch this shit,
it's free.
Go get your fucking head examined.
This is going to be free.
Okay, but in the past, they were on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are we doing now?
Who did we go see that one day? Was it Jake Paul and was it when he fought Tommy Fury?
I think we didn't go actively to see anything.
No. We were just getting wings and it was on.
Yeah, we went to just go get a bite and it was on. It was like, really?
But we did. Hey, we fucking watched it. Let's be honest.
I mean, what
Circle
else
of
were
Trust
we gonna
here?
watch?
It's just me, you, and everybody listening to this. Circle of Trust.
Circle of Trust. This is us. But truly, I won't spend money. I'll go to a bar if it's on.
I'm gonna watch it.
I mean, it's not like we purposely went to said restaurant to watch the fight. We didn't.
I don't know. You're being pretty combative about it right now. Maybe you did.
We were hungry boys. We were out drinking, and we wanted some wings. Okay.
Maybe that was your way of just lassoing me in and going to watch that.
Oh yeah, no. Totally.
I see you now.
Totally.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think there probably is going to be a knockout rule. But my biggest thing with that was just like Tyson can still punch, and if he connects with Jake Paul like that, like Jake Paul's a big boy and he's young, but that there could be hell to pay with that.
Mike
shit.
Tyson after the fight, he's gonna be like, I just knocked out a Disney princess.
That's actually good. You should send that to his manager.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gerrit Cole
Gerrit Cole?
is injured. Back to baseball, Mike. Scheduled at least to miss 1 to 2 months. Noted his surgeon. It was meniscus, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or is that's
UCL.
Cat. He's got UCL. Cat's got meniscus.
Yeah, he's coming back in a month.
What do you know about UCLs?
It's this piece of your elbow.
Okay. For the people listening, it's the side of your elbow, right?
Side of your elbow.
So
It's
what's
Tommy
that's just,
John,
that's
essentially.
just
It's Tommy
motion.
John.
We need Ian. Someone call Ian. I need to know this.
He'll be back. He'll be
Yeah.
back. He'll be back.
It's Tommy John. Not really though, because he's just gonna boost the muscle and hopefully get back in a couple months, right?
Dude, I don't know. It's a tendon. So if there's a partial tear or a full tear, it just really depends.
I don't ever feel bad for Yankees fans, but I am seeing quite a consistent issue that they have with their starting rotation and guys being out for considerable amounts of time.
Well, good thing to know there's like 2 all-star caliber starting pitchers on the free agent market right now that are currently unsigned that are probably going to sign with the Yankees. So
Price of the bag went up for Blake Snell after this injury. Now they know they need him. Come on.
100%.
Is Carlos Rodon going to pitch all year? We haven't been able to see that in a while. Old friend alert.
Old friend of the show. Carlos Rodon may or may not. I don't know. Last year he came back and he looked like shit, and then
We know how that goes, though. Sometimes he looks like shit, and then all of a sudden he looks really good out of nowhere. So
yeah, Rodon was the most inconsistent piece of the White Sox rotation for a long time.
that Yankees lineup is pretty insane. I was looking at it the other day, and I'm like, God damn. I forgot they got Alex Verdugo. They obviously have Juan Soto. Like, their whole entire lineup is filled.
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
pitching-
And they're
is pitching
still
gonna work?
they're still in this weird phase. Juan Soto, in my opinion, is not everything he's cracked up to be. Like the era of putting all-star teams together, minus the Texas Rangers, who
What do you want else from Juan Soto? Juan
he had
Soto's
a
one of
down
the
year.
best
He had a
baseball-
shit year. He had a
Yeah,
shit year last year.
Everybody gets that. It's a San Diego bump. Mind you, Juan Soto's still 25.
Yeah.
But no, I mean
Which is
he
impressive,
was 6th in MVP last year. He also got a Silver Slugger and an All-Star. So if that's a down year, I'll fucking take it all day.
We'll see. It's the Yankees. They'll try and find a way to fuck it up.
Yeah,
in the East
I think
right
it's gonna
now.
be pitching because they also lost Montgomery too, and that's something to remember because he pitched well for them last year.
Yeah. It's the Yankees.
Just saying.
It's the
Just
Yankees, Vince. I dislike the Yankees greatly. I'd love to go
I
to their
got you.
ballpark. Would love to go to their ballpark.
Maybe they re-sign Montgomery instead. Yes, me too. That is a goal. Let's make that a taxi squad goal here.
Oh, yeah. We've been to Fenway. Now we need to go across town.
The
We need to go
Yankee
across.
Stadium.
New city, new us. Who dis? All right. Well, yeah, I mean, that's about baseball. Spring training's winding down. Probably going to hit a couple games next week with the wife. She's on spring break. I'm taking a couple mental health days next week. I'm looking forward to it.
Cute.
And yeah, no, it's going to be great. Yeah, I'll fill in for some of those days, right? All right. Well, let's talk some NCAA stuff, right?
Yeah.
We're not too picking our brackets yet. There's some good games going on currently. They're
Conference
very much-
tourney season, brother. Conference
Yeah.
tourney season.
I watched the Gonzaga St. Mary's game last night.
Yeah.
Oh, what a battle. You know, they actually play defense in college basketball, which is refreshing, which is very much so refreshing.
Yeah, I mean they do. to a point. There's something to be said about college basketball players missing every shot they put up, too.
Well, they're not refined yet, right?
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
I'm
they're-
just
they're
saying,
not-
but like, defense looks better when someone misses a shot. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I see that. I see your point, but then again, the teams that shoot it the best usually win. That's basketball. 9 times out
Yeah,
of 10. But
and
defense,
They try hard. I get that. all things considered. But I know we got another thing to talk about too, but we had this conversation a little bit. I think women's college basketball is better than men's college basketball right now.
Listen, I think that LSU and South Carolina are the creme de la creme right now. And Caitlin
there's
Clark
a team out in Iowa.
Caitlin Clark is breaking scoring records. She's truly amazing.
They're not the best in the country, though. I will say that.
No. South Carolina notably has been wonderful, and LSU won the national championship last year on the women's side.
Angel Reese.
Yep. And recently, I mean, these girls play defense. I will say that much. They play hard. They get after it. Now, if we want to talk about scoring being at a minimum, watch that side of the game.
Yeah.
Anyways, I digress. Recently, there was a full knockout drag-out fight against LSU and South Carolina. These teams do not like each other.
Mm-hmm.
One girl got pushed at the half-court line, and then literally benches cleared. It was great.
It's awesome.
It was awesome. See these girls get after it, and then they had like family members jumping over the fucking press box, jumping onto the court and shit. Like, it was legit insane to watch.
There was a mom ready to throw all the hands. It was kind of wild. Some
of these girls are big too. Like, kick your ass, kick my ass.
Fuck yeah, I'm dead. I'm so dead.
Like,
and this kind of goes with my point too. Women's college basketball allows players to play on their team for longer. So you naturally have more of a buy-in from the players. You also have a buy-in for each other since you're playing with each other for more than a year versus those star players in the men's game leaving after a year, obviously, to go get that bag. So when you have a situation like this where you have two of the best teams in the country, you have some of the premier players in the country, and you have juniors and seniors on the team that have been here and understand how this shit works. They've lost to each other. They've won to each other, whatever it may be. That's how you get these tensions flaring. Because this isn't like they're annoying this year, I'm going to hit them. It's like these last fucking 3 years, like this asshole just keeps running into me, all this shit. I'm going to do something today. And then they do it. And then an absolute brawl breaks out. And that's what you want to see. So that also goes with my whole point. Women's college basketball has more rivalries, has more stars than men's college basketball. And it allows for shit like this to happen. And it's fun when shit like this does. Is women's college basketball going to put this out on the freaking internet saying, hey, start doing this all the time? No. But this is the stuff that you like to see. Like, you like to see a heel. You like to see the, superhero of Caitlin Clark, all that stuff, yada, yada. Men's game, you don't really have that much. I don't know if anybody's yammering over Zach Edey right now, but women's game has it, man. Women's game is fucking badass to watch.
They are fun to watch. I mean, my wife and I, she's a former high school basketball player. Could have played in college if she wanted to, but just was done. And she would have played like low level D2. But she still had an offer. Just let's put it that way. Girl's an athlete.
Yeah.
With that, she still loves watching the game. And she comes from a family that is big basketball. Her father coached basketball, all of it. So last year we got in this little dance that her and I, every Saturday mornings, we would get up and watch women's college basketball. And especially at this time, it does get exciting. And I mean, legit last year, it was just like, South Carolina, no one's touching them. And then they got to LSU, and that was kind of their demise. But that team kind of fell apart.
Yeah,
right.
They did.
And I don't know the names. I know Caitlin Clark, but I know these girls. You know
who Angel Reese is, because Angel Reese was talking that shit to Caitlin Clark last year. Do you remember that? Oh, yeah,
that's the girl with number 5, right? She has the big hair.
I think number 5, yeah, but she was talking that shit, and I loved it.
No, it's true. I mean, hey, you got to enjoy the shit talking of the sport. These girls get after it, and they play really hard, and they play great defense. I will say that much. And just to see a bench clearing fight just goes to show you, to your point, how much they care, and to your point, the buy-in.
Man. Like, I don't see anybody on the men's side because all the guys that are worth the shit are going to leave in a year or two. Like,
Vince asked me yesterday, who's the face of male college basketball right now? I said the Neanderthal playing center for Purdue. And that's all I knew.
And then I was like, what's his name? And you're like, I don't know. And I was like, what about women's? You're like, Caitlin Clark. It's like, yeah.
Exactly.
It's more marketable right now because you can pay attention to one player for 4 years instead of being like, well, I'm going to have you for the next 7 months and that's it.
True.
So I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, as the tournament goes, especially when the men's tournament starts, you start falling in love with those teams. A couple teams have already gotten in where you're like, don't recognize that school name. But at least right now, leading into it, like if you're watching women, like you want to see South Carolina, you want to see LSU, you still like to a point kind of want to see UConn, see if they can come back and take care of business. And obviously, it's the Caitlin Clark show, so they're not the best in the country, but hey, she goes
Gino
off every single night.
Gino
You
Ariema
win.
may be the best college basketball coach of all time, no matter the
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
can't think of anybody on the men's side that's worth the shit that coached for a long time, so I'll go with Gino.
Coach K.
Ah, boo. Don't like him. Get out of here.
I mean,
all right.
oh yeah, no, okay. Either way,
Calipari.
well, speaking of Calipari. Speaking of the great sport of football,
Yeah,
not speaking of, but college sports.
sure.
Nick Saban's recently in the news.
Yeah, man.
So I think it's interesting. He's coming out now after the season's over and like talking to congressional hearings and all this shit about the NIL and why it
Yeah.
needs to be regulated. And we've discussed for the past 2 years now as to what that looks like and how it should be in the next years to come. One thing that I guess I'm not like, if you're going to retire, just retire. You don't need to go on a warpath now.
Yeah.
Like, so he basically gets in front of a congressional hearing and just and I'll just hit him in quote. So all the things I believed in for all of these years, 50 years of coaching, no longer exists in college athletics.
Yep.
Saban said when asked by Cruz, by the way, Ted Cruz is involved in this.
Fucking,
Ted
if you haven't
Cruz's
had a
wife
chance
is
to
ugly?
watch this, if you hadn't had a chance to watch this too, go and watch it because it's like
It's
a smart man speaks to a toddler about football. I think Ted Cruz is like, yippee, Nick Saban. It's so funny, dude. It drives-
go Ted.
this guy's
So
famous.
Cruz, if the current in quote chaos in college sports led to his retirement, he says it's always about developing the players. Always has been about the people being more successful in life. My wife even said to me, we have all the recruits over on a Sunday with their parents for breakfast. She would always meet with the mothers and talk about how she was going to help impact their sons and how they would be taken care of. She came to me right before I retire and said, "Why are we doing this?" I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "All they care about is the money."
Yeah, like always. Well,
And that's what I'm saying. He's
Dude.
trying to create this narrative now that it's all about pay to play. It's always been fucking pay to play
yeah,
in some capacity.
right.
Like what? He wasn't making backhanded
Fuck
fucking deals
off.
for somebody's
No
dad to sit
way.
on some board
Always.
somewhere to make $120K a year, big oil. Come on.
It's and like I'm a Nick Saban fan as much as Alabama's pissed me off. Like he's a legend. Obviously, we both agree with that. This gives me old man yells at kids in his yard. It gives me that energy. It's like, dude, you knew this was coming. This has always been the case regardless. And also everything that he talked about in that can still happen. I don't know why it has to be affected. Your wife can still have everybody over and they can talk about growing their sons. The only difference is now you're not getting paid a shit ton while nobody else is getting paid. That's the real issue. It's like, hey, there's bargaining power now because he's not the only one getting paid anymore. The amount of money he brought to that state is obscene, and not to give it to anybody is insane.
Well, I agree. And I think what people miss in this entire scenario is that these aren't privileged young men
Right.
coming from the best parts of the world. These are usually underprivileged young men who played high school athletics very, very well, who are trying to get their way out of an unfortunate situation. So they are now getting to the point where they can go somewhere else potentially and make more money to take care of their families. Well, how are you supposed to knock somebody for that? It's like a career move, and now it's becoming more of a business, and it's not the power of the universities anymore. It's the power of the players. It's the player empowerment movement of college sports and the NIL. Now, I believe there should be some sort of money management aspect involved in this, and I've preached that consistently. But you cannot shame young men into believing what they're doing is wrong by entering a transfer portal to potentially better their situation overall.
Right. I mean, they're literally giving safety and security to their family, and Nick Saban's like, no. That's essentially what's going on.
No.
He's like, everything we believed in, like your mom not living in like the poorest area of Florida anymore. She needs to stay there so you can learn how to be a man. It's like, fuck off. Respectfully, dude. Like, what are we doing? It's just, dude, and you're going to get that with changes like this and like passing of the guard. And you know the college sports is the sport itself is changing. We've talked about that ad nauseum, and we will continue to do it as it continues to change. But in his, like, he's coming off of being the best coach of all time. It's like Bill Belichick giving us a breakdown on how the new offense is ruining football. And you're like, well, you're a defensive coach, and you've been in the league forever. Offense is different now. You got to get over it. It's apples and oranges, but it's almost comparable.
It's similar. The NFL is a completely different ball game right now.
Because they've been getting paid regardless.
they get paid.
Yeah.
These kids now are getting into this era of college football. That's the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
It is. It's exciting. It's different. It's new. It's the player mobility movement. But then again, I believe if a player is truly loyal to you, then he's loyal to you. And you have the same advantage as program A as program B. Now, granted, more universities have deeper pockets.
Sure.
But the boosters and all of it aid to that support for NIL money, to getting guys deals. Once again, this shit's been going on for years, and it's not in the guise of paying the players. But once again, large oil tycoon in Alabama or Mississippi or Texas
A&M.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a spot on my board for your father to come and sit, and we'll pay him a cushy salary of $200,000 a year for showing up to 5 meetings. Like, okay, are we to sit here to believe that shit doesn't happen on the regular?
A&M's been doing that shit for years, and they always have great incoming classes. And then what happens? Like, to treat it as a way where it's like coaching doesn't matter anymore. Like, none of this matters. Kids are just going to go get money, and the best players are going to win. That's never been the case, regardless. Yeah, someone's going to go to a place that has more money, but at the end of the day, it's like, if fucking Rutgers has a shit ton of money, is Rutgers going to start winning national championships? I don't think so. I really don't.
Some people argue, okay, well, what about like J.J. McCarthy? Or what about, Christian McCaffrey? They all came from blue chip privileged families.
Right.
I'm just saying.
And then they're allowed to go and make a decision like, hey, I don't need money, but I'd really like to play at this place. And if they're going to make less money, then go do that, because that's a free fucking market. It's literally America, baby. That's what we're looking at right now.
Aiden Hutchinson, example number 1. Daddy played at Michigan. Daddy played in the NFL. I'm going to play at Michigan. Okay. And I know these are one-off scenarios, but you can't compare that same situation for the kid who grew up in the middle of nowhere, Florida, who got a full ride somewhere and is a blue chip prospect that people are giving money left and right. We need to find a young prospect in the NIL program right now.
Oh, I was like, we're trying to blindside a kid right now?
No. I just want to talk to a kid who's receiving NIL money, how that works, how that looks. What does that look like from their side of the fence? That would be an interesting conversation. We will work to get it done. Now,
you got to assume there's a lot of like weird nuance to it. Like, how do they know they're paying them for exactly what they're paying them for? Where does the line end? Like, you got to assume they made a lot of bullshit with that, right?
Oh yeah, got to be some silly nanny nonsense that goes on there. But then again, once again, they probably sign a contract just like anything, and then people pay them.
Yeah.
And speaking of signing a contract and people paying you, let's get to our sponsorship. If you are to, you should use our great friends and brand loyalty of Henson Shaving.
This part of today's episode is brought to you by none other than our friends at Henson Shaving. If you guys have been listening to the show for a while, you already know that we swear by Henson shaving. We've been using them for months, and there really isn't a better product out there. The Henson razor puts an end to shaving irritation and cuts while also making your skin feel comfortable and smooth. This razor is made by using CNC machines to aerospace standards. That's right, rocket ships, people. That means it's made to very tight tolerances, meaning that the combination of how securely it's held and how minimally the blade is exposed delivers a smooth and safe shave no other razor can offer. It's literally one blade. Be safe. Please be safe. They're very sharp. You twist on the top and you get to work. It's that easy. You remember the beard bet? You remember me shaving off the whole thing? If you need to watch somebody use it, go on my Instagram and check it out because it's really that easy. Cost of ownership averages $88.20 every 2 years, which is essentially $177 less than normal cartridge razors. They're sustainable. It's precise. It's Henson shaving. It's got a nice weight to it. It's made out of metal. None of this plastic garbage. So please use the promo code THETAXISQUAD, THETAXISQUAD at checkout, and you'll receive a 100-pack of blades free with the purchase of the razor. So you go on the site, you add the razor that you're looking for, and then you add a 100-pack of razors, you'll get those for free. For most users, this amount of blades will last you 2 to 5 years, depending on how often you shave. So that promo code, again, is TheTaxiSquad at HensonShaving.com. Go check it out. NBA Talk. This is Mike's favorite segment. Welcome back to NBA Talk, where we talk all things NBA. And the NBA season is coming to a close soon, Michael. It's just like the hockey season that we talk about often. Really quick, Connor Bedard going off again. Blackhawks are going to be the worst in the league in the NHL, and they're probably going to get the first overall pick again, which means we are back to the Blackhawks dynasty. So that's hockey talk for the next 10 to 12 months. No, just kidding. We'll talk about it in the playoffs. But
let's go Blackhawks.
NBA. Couple injuries, couple big injuries. First one to start off with Karl Anthony Towns.
For sure.
Injury. For sure. Karl Anthony Towns seems like a nice guy. Karl Anthony Towns is one of the best players on previously the number 1 seed in the West, now third, essentially tied with the Thunder and the Nuggets. The Nuggets up 1 in the loss column. This is big deal for them.
Yeah. I believe I'm a firm believer that the NBA really doesn't matter until like the last month before the playoffs start.
Yeah, but seeding does.
Yeah, but okay, does it matter to the Nuggets if they're the 2nd seed or the 1st seed? No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Dude, okay. If you look at path to the playoffs or through the playoffs, if you look last year, the Nuggets had a lot easier road than a lot of other teams. And granted, they swept the Lakers, which was pretty wild. But if you're looking at a team that is inexperienced, like the Timberwolves are, they're pretty goddamn young in the grand scheme of things. And their big selling point right now is, outside of Anthony Edwards, is the 2 towers in the middle, is the Rudy Gobert and the Karl Anthony Towns thing. Karl Anthony Towns allows them to stretch the floor a lot because he can shoot from anywhere, which allows Gobert to stay in the middle. Now, if you have Gobert in the middle and you don't have Towns out there shooting corner threes, moving the ball around, you're going to have a stopgap in the middle of the paint, and Anthony Edwards isn't going to be able to drive and slash like he usually does, which could cause an issue for them. And if you look at it the way the standings are working out right now, if it were to end and the play-in doesn't count, like, they're going to play the Phoenix Suns in the playoffs in the first round. Like, would you rather play the Suns or the Los Angeles Lakers?
Probably the Lakers.
Yeah, me fucking too. But instead, they're going to get Kevin Durant eating their fucking lunch against them if they don't. Like, they might fall out of third, and they might be in a situation where they're playing the Clippers. And they're going to not be at home. Like, you want to be at home if you're a young team like that.
I think the Nuggets, it's their division to keep. Now, Karl Anthony Towns.
Though, bro.
Well, the Thunder's a very good young team, but I don't think
fun,
they have.
Man.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun, and they've done a rebuild incredibly successfully over the past now decade, really, since the whole thing got disbanded. But that, if you're the Chicago Bulls, that's how you do it. But they're not going to do it.
No.
So
No shot.
I think ultimately it's nice to see new teams atop the West. The East is very much so the East. It's been the same 3-4 teams over the past, 5-6 years.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see some fresh blood in the West. The Clippers, they just had Kawhi go down. I just believe that once again, these guys, it's probably the perfect time for them to get hurt in the best way possible. And you never want to see a guy get hurt. But right now, if you're going to get hurt and be out for 4 to 6 weeks, this is ideal because then you can come back and go on a run again.
Yeah. If
because
your team's in a good spot.
Playoffs start at the mid-May mark.
Oh, I did know the date. Yeah, around there. I forgot the exact time because usually the championship somewhere after my birthday, mid-June, early June.
Right, so playoffs start in May, so it's like prime time. So you do that right there.
Get your injuries out of the way.
Get them out of the way. If you're going to get hurt, probably prime time to get hurt. A meniscus injury can be difficult to navigate, though.
Big boy.
Because they're not all the same. And with a bigger, larger human being, it could be a lot different. Mm-hmm. Now, these seemingly occur a lot in the NBA if we look at, just year over year over year. But a lot of explosive movement, jumping up and down, that cushion that sits in between the joint and that cartilage, it could be it depends how severe the tear is. If it's lateral, whatever that is for him, how much of that meniscus does he lose? You can't regrow cartilage.
Yeah.
So he'll never be the same after this. So that's just usually how that works.
Hopefully sports science can figure it out because I really enjoy the Timberwolves being good because the last time they were worth shit was when Pat Bev went off in the play-in.
Look at Lonzo Ball.
Yeah.
And what was a meniscus injury has now turned into a catastrophic generational injury that he may never come back from
anymore. Yeah, his knee just doesn't work.
Yeah, it's bad. And you see that. I've went through that surgery at a young age, and my knee has never been the same after it. I'm grateful I still have mobility and all that, but I still have good and bad days. Now at 32, too.
I can at least wrestle you every time I see you. Now, a guy that I think that Carl should probably give a ring to learn how it feels to be sitting out a little bit. Ben Simmons, Mike. Your guy. He's back in the news.
When is it just not funny? When is it just not okay anymore? When is it just he legally robs people and gets away with it? It's like fucking Breaking Bad. He can't keep getting away with it.
His back hurts, dude. His back hurts.
It's so, it's the softest sport on the planet. You are seriously the largest group of soft individuals I've ever seen.
He's special, though. He's especially special.
He is fucking cashmere. He is mink. This motherfucker, he is the softest of soft.
Charmin soft, some would say. Brand name.
He is Hanes. He is cotton panties. This mother, just retire at this point.
He's silk sheets at the Four Seasons.
Dude, he does. He's whatever is above 1,000 thread count. That is him. He is 100 million thread count on the soft level. This motherfucker just breeds.
His back hurts, dude. His back hurts.
Oh my God. This guy.
It's insane. It is insane.
This guy might have a chinchilla farm. He's so fucking soft. Okay. He is that soft.
Part of me is like, he's getting away with highway robbery right now.
And has year over year over year.
And then the other part of me is like, this is insane. So if we look at the amount of games he's played since 2020 and on, what would you say?
So over the past 4 years, how many games has he played?
Yes. Full league years, yes.
Okay, so mind you, that's 82 games in a season.
82 per season, yep.
Over 4 years. Okay. Quick math. So 328 games.
That's
out of those 300.
Oh, I was going to say it's not your
Out of those 328 games, he's maybe played 40.
No, he played more than that.
Oh,
Honestly,
okay.
if you were to take out that 2020 season where you played 58, so overall, that answer is 118 over 4 years, which is still appalling, just absolutely brutal. In
Jesus.
2020-21, he played 58. That was the last time he was ever in Defensive Player of the Year. He was an All-Star that year, big deal. After that, DNP for Brooklyn, back injury. Maybe it's recurring. 42 in 2022-2023, considerably less minutes per game. And then finally 15 this year. Played 15, and now he's out for the rest of the year again. So you can essentially say 5 full seasons he's going to play about 115 games. So Mr. Non-Reliable. He's the opposite of whatever you'd call Cal Ripken in the 90s.
Yeah, he's not it, man. He's not it.
He was?
To give you some
He
perspective.
was a monster. Do you remember when he was really good?
Yeah, I remember. And Colin Cowherd was like, comparing him to the greats. Like he's not
supposed
LeBron.
to be LeBron James.
He's a LeBron. He's the next LeBron. He's this. He's just shut up. Just shut up.
Sharp and soft.
Stop saying words. Mr. Simmons, good for you on robbing every NBA franchise you've ever played for a lot of money.
I don't blame him, but as a basketball fan, I hate him.
He's everything
that
that's wrong
fair?
with the sport. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
He's
I
everything
agree.
that's wrong with the sport.
I agree.
He
He's
is
taking advantage of it.
Like Kobe
okay.
Bryant tore his Achilles and shot his free throws.
Uh-huh.
To give
But his
some
back hurts.
On my back it hurts, and I want to go on vacation.
Man. My back hurts, dude.
I want to go sit in. I want to go sit in the south of France and be on a boat with pretty girls.
He'll go back to Australia. He'll enjoy himself there and move on.
Sure he will. Aye. All right. Well, all right. Let's talk about what we talk about best.
The big stuff. The
NFL free agency period is wide open, and it is in full swing. I mean, notably, we have gone full circle, and from the combine talk last week to this week, a lot has changed, and the entire landscape of the NFL has changed, primarily on the quarterback market. So, Kirk Cousins, who this guy, being Chicago Mike, never thought in a second was going to leave Minnesota, leaves, heads to Atlanta Kirk. Wow.
First nail
this guy's
to drop,
made
really.
more. I mean, this guy's made more money in his career than most people have made in 3 lifetimes.
Yeah. And
we're going to talk about that.
Really cool career path, honestly, comparing what he did, and he got drafted in the same exact draft as Robert Griffin III. And if you were to tell me who's a quarterback that's going to get a max contract, a massive contract in 2024, and you gave me those 2 answers in that draft, I would have said RG3 every single time. So, I mean, kudos to him. Barrington boy, all that stuff considered. We said last week is essentially a done deal. He's staying in Minnesota.
It looked it just knowing the personality after watching the QB doc, it seemed like he was just going to roll with it. But, man, it just seemed like he wanted to get – I mean, hey, he's not opposed to money, regardless of how much he loves
I think he's
Jesus
also seeing – hey, Minnesota's hitting some cap hell right now. They re-sign me, it's going to be brutal. They're going to have to get rid of everybody. So I think he was probably let's get out. Let's get off the ship before it sinks. And now look at his situation.
And now he's in the weakest division in football. New head coach, new everything, system that he knows. Weapons
everywhere.
Galore. Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson. They're all young, too.
Yep.
And then most recently, the most recent domino, Darnell Mooney, signed in 3 years, $39 million.
It's a lot of money for our boy there.
Slot receiver who has done diddly dog shit over the past 2 years for the Bears. I'm blown away.
I mean, he showed a lot of signs of positive movement in the not last year, but 2 years ago and the year before, kind of. So I think they're kind of betting on that. And I think they're also betting on the fact that the Bears ran fucking screens 90% of the time last year. So they're like, well, if we throw the ball vertically, maybe he has a chance. But, yeah, I mean, we talked about it yesterday. If you look at the TJ Hawkinson comparison to Kyle Pitts, you're getting TJ Hawkinson, but an NBA player build. Like, it's like Kyle Pitts is going to have a great year. Bijan Robinson's going to be able to run the ball a little bit more because the threat of pass is always imminent. And then Drake London, who already had a good year last year, is going to benefit from it too. I mean, the Falcons are in a situation right now. They're in a spot where they can go from worst to first almost immediately in that division. Like
they basically going to.
They had a chance to make the playoffs last year with the team.
Well, they had me throwing the football basically.
That's what I'm saying.
Desmond Ridder. But with that, I do believe that this could be a similar scenario where you saw Matthew Stafford get on the Rams, and then one thing led to another, and they were Super Bowl bound. I mean, in the weakest division in
that
football
being
right
said,
now,
though, the Rams went to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff.
I know they did.
Yeah.
But they are a piece away, young, like truly that starting quarterback away of being a contender in arguably the weakest division in all of football.
I don't even know if it's an argument at this point.
I mean, Tampa's in that division, so is New Orleans, and granted, Baker just signed 3 years, $100 million, which is insane.
I mean,
but
who's the best quarterback in that division now?
Kirk.
It's Kirk.
It's got to be.
Has to be.
It's got to be. It's not Carr. You know, unless just the system doesn't fit, but this is essentially the same system he ran in Minnesota.
I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't know why I said Minnesota like that. But anyways. Minnesota. But can we just talk about the facts? So Saquon Barkley, most notably, just signed from the Giants to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
3 years, $37.75 million.
Get paid, my guy.
Get paid, but are we going to talk about the fact Darnell Mooney's agent deserves a fucking gold star because he got him more money?
You know why, though?
Pick. Why? I don't get it.
Because
why?
running backs don't get paid, man.
It's insane.
Receivers get paid. If you compare the top running back contracts and then you compare the Mike Evans, Hall of Famer, Mike Evans, very good. If you're talking about like who's really good. Elite wide receiver in the league. Saquon, elite running back in the league. Mike Evans, 2 years, $41 million. Saquon, 3 years, $37 million. Higher total value for a year less for a guy like Mike Evans. And then you get Gabe Davis, 3 years, $39 million. You get Mooney, 3 years, $39 million. You get fucking Calvin Ridley, 4 years, $92 million. Don't know if you caught that today from the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah. They're just paying everybody to surround
wide receivers
Will Levis
get paid, dude. And running backs just don't.
Don't get it. It's also a really good time in the NFL to be a offensive lineman. If you're sub, you're above 300 pounds, you're getting paid bags. These guys everywhere, 4 years, $50 million, $100 million deals just being thrown out left and right. It's truly insane.
It's wise to get a good lineman. Baker Mayfield returns to the Bucs. That was going to happen. Congrats on a $100 million contract to the guy, though. What a bet on yourself guy. What a badass.
You got to love him.
Hey, revisionist history, man. Like, if you go back 2 years and you look at where he's at, where he makes that freaking amazing, like, what was it, 1 day, 2 day before going in and playing a game for the Rams and winning it. And then, like, when he was on the Panthers, they were like, his career's over. The Browns got rid of him. The career's over. Goes to the Bucs, and now he's a $100 million quarterback.
Bet on himself. You got to love it. You got to love this story where guys bet on themselves and truly come out winning.
Hell yeah. And another guy that bet on himself, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's a Steeler.
I mean, what cringy moments is he going to have now?
Bro.
Is it Steelers Nation?
Let's weld.
Let's weld. Steelers Nation. Let's steal.
Smith.
Steel.
No, it's like steel, like hammers steel.
Oh, all right.
Let's blacksmith.
I bet you it could be like hammer down, Steeler Nation.
Hammer down. That's probably
be careful.
Be it.
Be careful. Spicy.
He gets 1 year. He gets 1 year, 1.2. and the Broncos are on the hook for the rest of that contract that was guaranteed. So
I mean, I think Sean Payton truly hated the guy, but
yeah,
people
fine.
will argue that. People will argue that.
Well, some people think he's overrated, so we'll see how that ends up playing out in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and can we talk about Sam Darnold going to the Vikings, Jacoby Brissett going to the Patriots, Gardner Minshew going to the Raiders? All these quarterbacks just
moving.
Fucking Mac Jones getting traded for a 6th-round pick.
That was so funny. That was also telling for us, and we're going to get to it, but Mac Jones sets the market there. If you're talking about a 2021 guy, started a couple years, no one really knows. I mean, Mac Jones is kind of like he's going to suck, so I think we got more talent, but that sets the market. And at the end of the day, it's like you still got, you could still pick up Tannehill if you want. You'd think he would be at some place at some time. Oh, yeah. Jameis, baby.
Oh,
Jameis, baby.
Jameis to the
Cleveland!
Browns.
This is the most excited they have to be since probably LeBron coming back.
Why would they be excited? He's not from there, Vince.
Jameis season, dude. You never know what's going to happen.
Jameis is just going to go be a hype man for Deshaun Watson.
Until he gets injured inevitably, every year.
And then, until he can go get his next rub to Zug and Zug.
And then it's Jameis season, and he's going to be eating dubs in Cleveland, dude.
All right, let's talk about something other than Jameis, because I just can't. I mean, Vince, I know you get so excited about the guy who had LASIK, but we just can't continue down this path.
Fine, let's talk about Mason Rudolph going to the Titans.
No.
Okay, never mind then.
All right, who is, in your opinion, to this stage of the game,
okay,
the team that truly got better in free agency up to this point?
I can tell you who got
to the
worse.
Team that got worse. So who got worse?
Dallas Cowboys. They haven't signed
nothing.
A single person. You see Skip Bayless tweet?
No.
He posted a tweet that was next level. And I don't know if you've seen any of this Twitter discourse about using proper grammar so stuff reads correctly. Skip Bayless was talking shit about the fucking Cowboys. And I'm trying to find the exact verbiage so I don't say it incorrectly here.
Oh, didn't he say all in, comma, my ass?
Yeah. So I wish that he didn't put a comma there. Because if he just randomly off the cuff tweeted all in my ass, I would have went fucking bonkers. So that was the whole thing. But regardless, the Cowboys probably got worse by doing nothing. The team that got better, you can have a couple of conversations about that. If you're going from where they were last year to where they will be this year, regardless of pickups, you have to go Falcons because they got a quarterback and they got another year under every single young guy that they have on that team.
Sure.
They'll be better. The Ravens got better.
Yeah, but they also lost a lot of guys.
That's true, which is going to happen when you're trying.
They lost Gus Edwards, Patrick Queen.
You start looking, the Jaguars maybe got better. The moves they made kind of feels like they're going to do the same thing they did last year.
Yeah.
It starts getting a little iffy here and there. I mean, the Chiefs, they kept Chris Jones, which I thought was impossible.
Well, Chris Jones just knew. I mean, Patrick Mahomes went and restructured his contract. He's doing the Tom Brady thing. This is what Tom did a million years ago to keep a team together.
5-year, $158 for Chris Jones. Get paid, my guy.
Uh-huh.
You got to go Falcons, though. No, the Packers got a lot better, unfortunately. But
my biggest takeaway, of course, the Falcons because of the quarterback signings. But you look at what a team like the Texans just did.
True.
Dear Lord,
trades
they look
and free agents.
Scary on paper, man. Now they look legitimately. They traded for Joe Mixon, who, when Joe Mixon's healthy, is a true RB1. That means the days of Dameon Pierce are done.
Mm-hmm.
Dunzo. Okay, Devin Singletary just signed elsewhere. They re-signed Dalton Schultz. Jeff Okuda, who I believe could be sneaky. I
Yeah.
believe if he has a renaissance somewhere, that guy was a highly, arguably, the best rated corner coming out of Ohio State when he did come out. But the biggest signing, of course, is Danielle Hunter, defensive end.
It's a
Minnesota
scary
Vikings,
fucking defense.
who
Scary.
we thought the Bears were all in on, but clearly they're not all in on. Fuck.
I mean, yeah, you can't win them all, but in this case, you're like, damn it. But from an unbiased perspective, they got like a lot better too. Again, for the same reason, through trades and through free agency, but also CJ Stroud's got another year under his belt. If he can play like he did last year, that might work out. Can we make an argument for the Colts getting better?
Okay.
Joe Flacco.
I'm still not sold on Richardson. I'm just not. He's Justin Fields 2.0 to me.
He played well. We'll have to see. I mean, there's not a lot of tape on it, to be honest.
I get it.
The Giants got fucking worse too. The Giants got a lot worse.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't really see it at all. I mean, you could look at the Rams and say they just went and paid a bunch of offensive linemen to protect their aging QB, which makes sense. But you look at the Vikings, Sam Darnold season. Just know Sam Darnold will catch on somewhere.
That, man.
I'm telling you, he knows that system. He's got
how much
Justin
longer
Jefferson,
are you going to give him, though?
Jordan Addison, former USC product, and then you have Aaron Jones that signed as well after Josh Jacobs signs to the Packers, and then the Packers also signed fucking Xavier McKinney. Dear God. It's like it's Groundhog's Day all over again. They're just so well run as an organization.
This is final stop of maybe Sam Darnold can be something territory, right? Like, you have to assume Vikings are going to go and pick up a quarterback in the draft. Like a lot of these teams that you're like, I don't really know. And we'll get to our guy in a moment, but I mean, they're going to let him start this year, I assume, yeah?
Yeah. 100%.
Is that concerning?
He's going to be their starter. And I believe they will draft a quarterback at some point, whether that's J.J. McCarthy, whether that's Bo Nix, whether that's Michael Penix. They will draft somebody to sit.
Yeah.
Watch Sammy D do his thing, learn the system. I think Bo Nix looks like Kirk Cousins 2.0.
Yeah, I could see that.
He really does. And not saying that just because they kind of look alike, but also saying that just simply because their play styles and their play style is very similar.
Yeah. We glossed over it a touch, but Russell Wilson's going to start in Pittsburgh. Yeah. Deontay Johnson's gone, right?
It's George Pickens' year, babe.
So it's George Pickens' season. Yeah, Deontay Johnson goes to football purgatory in Carolina. I don't know how this works out.
And they traded Brian Burns.
Yeah.
How do you trade arguably the best edge rusher in the game for nothing? Like, what are they thinking? Like,
they had the value last year. I mean, they got 2 firsts for him last year, and they turned it down, and now they're selling him for peanuts.
The Bears wanted him as a part of the deal for the first pick in the draft.
Yeah.
And then they settled on DJ Moore.
I mean, I'll keep DJ Moore. He's a fucking monster. But
DJ's a monster.
That would have been awesome to have him regardless. Yeah, but again, Pittsburgh. They've been 500 like every year since the beginning of Mike Tomlin's career. They are putting Russell Wilson at the front seat. Russell Wilson re-energized, new offense, all this stuff. Could Russell Wilson be the demise of Mike Tomlin?
I don't think so. I think Tomlin clearly saw something and said, you're going to do it my way or no way.
Kenny's done. They know that.
Arthur Smith, who knows? Could be it.
I don't know. That AFC North is fun now.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is Derrick Henry going to Baltimore. I mean, that's scary in itself.
Yeah, but they can't stay healthy at halfback, and he's an aging halfback. that gets injured. Like, I'm worried about that.
I think Lamar Jackson said, "I want this guy. Go get him."
Which,
and they did.
smart. I mean, they needed to bolster that backfield. I just hope that he can stay healthy this year in that offense.
Gus Edwards went to the Chargers. Went from one Harbaugh brother
That's
to another.
about the only thing the Chargers fucking did too. So,
And they're looking at potentially retaining Khalil Mack. I've also read that.
they released Eric Kendricks. If you look at this is depressing as shit. They released 3 guys. They released Mike Williams. They released AJ Uzodinma. Thank you, everybody. And Andrew Trainer. They re-signed one guy in Alohi Gilman, Will Disley, Gus Edwards, Eric Kendricks. They didn't do much, if anything. They lost more than they gained here. This might be setting him up for not a great year to start off, no?
It's going to be a toss-up.
They weren't good last year. They were not at all. And they made minimal to no effort to get better. And they have a new coach. Maybe it's like feel out how it goes this year and try again next year.
Yeah, I don't. Who's to say? Who are we talking about again?
We're talking about the Los Angeles Chargers. We're talking about Jim Harbaugh.
I think Harbaugh's going to need a draft. I think he's
Yeah.
going to need a draft and really get it done. He's creating this team and his vision. I could see next offseason them being all in.
Yeah.
All in. Getting rid of the dead money. I could see them trying to trade the Bosa brother at some point next year. Wait to the deadline, get the most out of him, get him to a team who wants to compete. Now, one could say that they're in line to draft arguably either one of the best tight ends or wide receivers in the draft.
Brock.
So Mike Williams now gone, or Brock. Yep, could be it. So we will see. But I think Harbaugh is the man for the job, and he'll figure it out. First years, though, they may go 7-8, 7-9, but after
Let's
that,
see what
it's
we
gonna
got kind of deal.
It's Herbert season and quote. Now you can't overlook what the Washington Commanders have gone out and done.
Yeah,
just saying, they got really good, pretty much overnight. I mean, and if it's any indicator that they're drafting a quarterback, they bring in Marcus Mariota. And I think that is a full-blown hard stamp that they're drafting Jaden Daniels.
There's a lot of short deals here. The one thing you can look at a lot is Austin Eckler. He's an upgrade from Brian. Who do they have? Brian Robinson and Antonio as well on that team. They added a lot. They released Little, got rid of Charles Leno, old friend, and Logan Thomas. And they also signed Bobby Wagner. So you got to, like, half their team's going to be updated, which is good because they got a new owner and new coaches and everything. So,
true.
But yeah, signing Marcus Mariota is like, let's bring a rookie in here and let's have him just fuck around with Marcus Mariota for a little bit of time here. Or Sam Howell, keep him going.
It's not going to be Sam Howell.
Well, I mean,
Sam
why not
Howell.
though? If you're, they're probably going to have Drake May.
I think they're taking Jaden Daniels at 2.
Do you at 2?
Oh yeah,
it'd be kind of
Heisman
fun to
winner
have
at
the
2.
Howell Drake May though, just like college.
Our whole speculative, mock draft of the top 10. That how we feel because it's coming up soon.
Yeah,
but that's what I believe the tree leaves are telling us. That's where Jaden Daniels is going.
I can see it.
I don't see it any other way. I feel like Cliff is going to look at this and go, all right, well, I can't have my guy, so I'm going to get the guy who's arguably the closest thing to him in this draft, which is Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking Sam Howell to Drake May, that pipeline. There's
another UNC quarterback.
Mitch Trubisky gets traded down to Washington, and it's just the same QB room they had in 2018.
Oh, yeah. It's great. It's great. Great. They're going to love it. Now, Vince, so we went on, some of our biggest who went where. Who's left on the list?
Well,
there's
a
arguably
team. Sorry, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
Who's left on the list?
There's a team in Miami, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
That's had a weird time because they release a lot of guys and they sign a lot of guys. And I don't know how this is going to end up working for them in the long run. Xavier Howard is gone. He's been like the captain of the defense since however long he's been on that team. I don't even know. They bring in a couple guys. Jonnu Smith isn't going to move the needle. Best tight end on the Falcons last year, but whatever. Shaq Barrett, that's a good pickup. Like, I don't know if this makes them better, and they need to get better. Like, they're not going to compete the way that they wanted to with a team like this, and it just seems like, substituting 2% for skim milk. You're not doing shit either way,
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Poyer, it's just releasing Xavier
Poyer's cool.
Howard.
They're hotter now. I could see him in the Miami uniform being a hot guy, just being like, "What's up?" and then just not being great in the playoffs.
Jordan Poyer?
Yeah, that's a hot guy.
Yeah, he's a good-looking cat.
Yeah.
He married well. I will say that much.
Yeah, well done.
I just the Xavier Howard thing. They clearly just didn't want to pay him, and he's arguably one of the best corners in the league.
And like the captain of the defense. What are we doing, guys?
Man, if the Bears signed him, man. All
He
right.
suddenly becomes a cold weather guy. That'd be fun.
Speaking of which, let's discuss our Bears, shall we?
Never heard of him.
Bears corner.
Bears corner.
All right.
Still insane that you can do that like that, but
Yeah, every now and again. I'm not very excited or enthused about this Bears corner, for I don't know what this fucking team is thinking right now in the grand scheme of everything. Get it that you re-signed Jalen Johnson. Maybe could have been a strange and unusual this week, but we'll talk about it now. He went on local Chicago sports radio
I forgot.
and just totally admitted that he was a sex addict. And Vince has thoughts on this. Vince, go.
I do. You can't be a sex addict if you can't have sex. So if you're a famous guy that makes a lot of money, you can bang
You
a
heard
lot.
it here
You can be
first.
a sex addict. If you don't have a lot of money and you can't bang a lot, you're probably just addicted to porn. I believe he's probably addicted to sex, but it's just like supply and demand, baby. Like, would I be addicted to sex? Probably, if I can get laid as much as fucking Jalen Johnson can. I probably would be. I probably would be
Like, what's
banging all the time.
What's the threshold of income you have to be to be a sex addict?
I
right?
think it's
Is it above
whatever level it is to just.
$120K?
I think whatever level it is to just fly somebody out and take them wherever you want.
I mean, what if you're going to what if you're the local lounge lizard just going to bang whatever moves? You know what I'm saying?
Which could count too.
What if you're the suave era, the slump hole, and you're just banging anything that
Well, there's
moves?
probably worse issues than sex addiction, honestly, in that scenario.
Oh yeah, no, there's far more issues, but I'm just saying. To Vince's point, there has to be some discussion. Because what if he was just banging whales or banging anything that moved?
I mean, all power to him at the end of the day. But I think, being in a situation as being on the Chicago Bears and being the best player on the defense or one of the best players on the defense definitely allows you to open
But he
your pool.
wasn't when he first got in the league. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now he got a bag, 4 years, $76
Yeah,
million.
but higher
I think
draft pick.
48 of it was, yeah.
So he's doing it in college too. Like I'm not discrediting the fact that he's a sex addict. I just think it's the same reason that it's a lot easier to get addicted to cigarettes if you're 18 because you're able to. You can go buy cigs. Like, it's the same idea. This is not an age requirement. It's like simply a money and looks and status department. Which is why you very rarely hear stories about random male that works at factory declared sex addict. It's more so like this famous actor is a sex addict, and you're like, duh.
Or Drake or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
No. So
Dude. I would be too. Again, not to discredit it, but that's kind of my thoughts on it. You're either a sex addict or you're a porn addict. And I don't necessarily know how this applies to Jalen Johnson all that much, but alas, here we are.
Yeah, those were your thoughts. No, and
Yes,
I
for sure.
Listen, I think he ultimately has performed well over the past 2 years and has gotten better year over year. So
Yeah.
it's nice to see that he's being retained.
I
Now,
like it.
a couple of head scratchers here. Okay. I don't understand the DeAndre Swift signing.
Why?
This makes no fucking sense because you have 2 running backs that are good. I mean, Khalil Herbert averaged the same rushing attempts and average of fucking Saquon Barkley last year.
Yeah, I mean the Bears were the
You
leading
could
running team in the league, though.
You could stack the numbers side by side. Khalil Herbert had similar numbers. So
Yeah, but that's not
I don't get
fair,
it.
though. The Bears only ran last year. They did not have a passing game. You remember this being completely non-existent. It was like they stacked everybody at the line and just let them run through the fucking middle. Khalil Herbert by no means was a oh shit, he made a break for it. I don't think he had one big run last year.
He did. He had a very big run against the Commanders in that heartbreaker of a game.
The Monday night one?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember that, I think. But I mean, DeAndre Swift, he was a multifaceted back last year for the Eagles. He was, honestly, they'd want him back if they didn't get Saquon. I think that's honestly their thought.
You can't pass pro, though. That's my only issue.
Yeah.
And we've had an issue.
You have
pass
big guys.
We have nobody. What? Ryan Bates, the one that we gave up for a 5th-round pick that we signed the year before. But
are you saying running backs?
No, I'm talking offensive linemen.
No, I was talking about. No, I'm saying that's why you have Deontay Foreman and Kaimi Blastingame or whatever his name is.
Deontay Foreman is not coming back.
He's gone.
I think Roschon Johnson will remain, and I think he's wonderful. I think he's next up. That's why, I'm not in the mode of okay, you need an edge rusher, and the first thing you go do is sign a fucking running back, which is
I can get behind that. That's valid.
So with that, then they pick up Ryan Bates for a 5th-round pick that they gave a qualifying offer to last offseason, and the Bills matched it immediately. And this guy isn't a world beater. He's not a top-tier guy. He's just a guy.
Yeah.
And you gave up a 5th-round pick for him.
I'm kind of cool with it.
They're saying he may play center, but he's a guard.
Yeah, but that was Cody Whitehair, too.
Yeah, but how did that work? Not good.
That's true.
I'm just
saying. Guys do that. Yeah, I mean, part of me doesn't want to yuck it too much because you never know how it's going to end up working out at the end of the day. But there are places our pass rush should get better, but our offensive line should very well be the main priority right now. We know what they're doing with quarterback. What they'll do with both of them is a different question. Protect the man. Maybe get another deep threat or something, maybe a Doomsday in the draft, whatever, maybe. Get some linemen, my guy. This was an issue, and you think that Caleb's going to get rid of the ball, yeah, but you need to, and their line is getting better. I'm not even going to say that it isn't. But now you're going to have to go draft to at least get one or two more guys.
You got Darnell Wright, who's proven that he can be a guy. And
who?
Then you have Darnell Wright.
No, I know. I'm just back when we were at the draft.
Oh, yeah. We didn't know who the fuck he was.
No one knows who the fuck Darnell Wright is.
Who is this guy? Granted, he's been a dog, and he basically played the second half of the season with one shoulder. So, I mean, he's a beast. And then you have the human turnstile and Braxton Jones that I'm not fully bought in on.
I'm not. I like Tev.
Another one, if he's healthy.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this all plays out. I like the Kevin Byard signing.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I mean, that is a signing that you got him for reasonable money-wise. And not only that, at his tip-top playing is an all-pro.
Now, what's our deal with tight ends? Why do we keep doing this?
I don't know why you signed Gerald Everett.
I don't get it. We still have Tunyon, too. We have Komet, Tunyon, and Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett is a great athlete, and I think he will be a difference maker. But 3 tight ends, when you, you need to have a deeper line. You have guys that you need to work on the other end.
I think Gerald Everett is that guy that you can move around, put in packages, and is athletic enough to line up in a slot if you need him to, which I could see the Bears doing quite a bit and getting creative with that. And, Noah Fant played a similar role in this offense last year for
True. I keep forgetting that fucking Shane Waldron came from Seattle. Yeah.
So Waldron ran a similar scheme, and I think Cole Kmet will also improve from it.
I
think it's just kind of creating Cole Kmet, I mean, he's a dog.
Yeah, he is good. That's what I'm saying. I hope he has a big fucking season. That'd be sick.
He deserves it. It'd be nice to see another Bears tight end not named Greg Olsen. who's one of the
Who was the
greatest
guy
rappers
before
of
him?
all time.
I can
Desmond
see
Clark,
his face. Desmond Clark. Thank you. Can't think of his
going
name.
way back.
Love that
Bears OG-ness right now.
Marty Booker,
So
bitch.
Marty Booker, Mushin Mohammed,
Devin Aroma should do.
Devin Aroma should do.
Yeah.
Johnny Knox got split in
Big
half.
time. Worst injury I've ever seen. If you guys want to get grossed out, go watch the Johnny Knox injury on YouTube.
Yeah, it was
It's
against
up
the
there with
Seahawks.
Kevin Ware, dude. It's up there with Kevin Ware, where you're like, oh.
That or Ryan Shazier. Ugh.
Yeah. Or the other tight end we had, Zach Miller.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
The most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, we had to see a lot of gross shit. I've seen more people almost die on the football field than Bears Super Bowls, and that means one. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty sweet.
That is, that's honestly pretty pathetic, if I'm
Yeah.
being honest. But we alluded to it earlier. The quarterback market has been completely
Let's
nuked
try.
by every other team in the NFL, not named the Bears. I don't know what the market of Justin Fields is right now. It doesn't seem.
Dry. Where do we
It
go?
seems drier than the Sahara. Seems drier than an Arizona desert. I don't know. It's very concerning now what you do moving forward with a starting quarterback whose numbers evaluate to that of a Mac
Kinda
Jones,
suck.
to that of
They
a Davis
suck.
Mills.
They really do.
They're not good.
Eye
So
test is
teams
better
are-
than those guys, but the statistics suck. And they are those guys at the end of the
So
day.
what do you do, Vince?
You are in a precarious situation, Michael, because no one's trading for a quarterback right now. No shot.
What
You
about the
don't have a
Giants?
trade. Yeah, but are they going to draft one? I think you wait. I think you wait until the NFL draft in April. You see how that all pans out. And that's the thing. They're going to hold him. They're probably going to hold him while they have Caleb Williams, because now leverage means fucking nothing. A couple things, and we've had time to kind of stew over this and think about it the last couple of days as nothing happened. I could see maybe Fields to Seattle, play behind Geno a little bit, and then get moved up there eventually, because Geno's not going to be there for a long time. There's no option for him to be like the new starting quarterback somewhere right now.
I was thinking
Besides
about this
maybe New York.
today. I was thinking about this today. How in a week we got this whole narrative changed, just boom. It's completely different than what it was. Like, if you would have told me this a week ago, I would have been like, no way.
Don't blink. Life
But
moves
here we
fast.
are. Here we are. And I'm just like, what if you get a third and a fifth for him? Do you take it?
Yeah.
Because the last time this really happened was Sam Darnold getting traded from the Jets to Carolina for a 2 and a 4.
Yep.
And a lot of people are saying that's going great. But then Mac Jones gets traded for a 6th, and the numbers almost look identical. And to your point, the eye test of the athlete on the field is not the same.
Yeah.
But then again,
I think you
math
probably
doesn't lie.
get more. Well, because I think the quarterback talent in the NFL is better now than it was during that Sam Darnold trade. Like, I know that wasn't that long ago, but it's more spread out, and there's more like we can kind of like hop on this guy and hope for the best kind of deal.
I like the Seahawks potential. That could be a thing. But to your point, I think you have to now wait to the draft,
Yeah.
or
See how that
you have
shakes
to
out.
wait until after the draft and when training camp starts. But a lot of people are saying that could just be a mutiny.
Well,
to
right,
have
because
two
everybody, that's the thing, everybody likes him. But if Caleb Williams comes in and he just starts fucking beating them and shit, you know, it's football, baby. You want to win. Winning cures all. But yeah, I mean, you want to end up getting rid of him, because that's the thing. He's not like an older guy. You're not going to Andy Dalton or Mike Glennon his ass. Like, there's no way.
No.
He's too
no.
competitive and too young and still trying to become something in the NFL, which I, again, don't think that it's impossible for him to do so. I just don't think it's going to happen here, man.
No, it's definitely not happening here. A lot of people are still, speculating that, maybe this is a smoke screen and they keep him. It's like, there's no shot. So
yeah,
it kind of
I
leads
got
me.
one friend that's doing like, hey, maybe instead we're gonna keep him. It's like just because we couldn't trade him doesn't mean they're gonna change their full future plan. Like that's not how that shit works.
But I guess we should pose the question: did they mismanage this entire thing at the combine?
No. What are you
No?
supposed to do?
Not like just go give the new guy on the street a backdoor handy before you draft him.
Well, regardless, though, you're gonna meet with him, and also,
Yeah, but then it just came out that no, the Bears are all in on him.
that
There's
doesn't
no,
change.
there was no.
The people that like what? We're gonna trade him to the Jaguars for a 6th? No shot. I'm sure
It's
the
still-
Jaguars asked us for him before they asked the fucking Patriots for Mac Jones. I'm sure they did.
Yeah, but Mac Jones, then again, is a Jacksonville guy who's going
And he
home.
sucks ass at quarterback.
Well,
so-
let's face it, though. He hasn't had any favors. In his first year, he was a Pro Bowler, right? Him and Mitch.
him and Mitch.
And then not only that, though, but he did get a defensive head coach in Matt Patricia as his offensive coordinator.
That's true.
So they didn't do
That's
the guy any
valid,
favors.
But having any offensive coordinator is better than Luke Getsy, so I'll give him that. And Fields had 3 offensive coordinators. Again, like I don't know. I feel like he has a chance to be a starter somewhere else, but it's going to happen either when someone gets injured or on a team that is kind of getting over their quarterback, whether they're old or whether they're used goods.
So if somebody comes tomorrow and says, we'll give you a 3 and a 5, you're taking it.
Done, easy.
4 and a 5.
Yeah, probably.
You're just all right. Somebody
You
says
gotta
tomorrow,
get
here,
rid of him, man. What are you gonna do keeping him? What's the point?
everybody, the spec on it. I mean, God, you remember when Mel Kiper was like Todd. He could go for a 1. He could go
Well,
for the 8th pick in the
The
draft.
cool thing about Mel Kiper is he's wrong almost all of the time. So at the very least, when he says something, I'm like, yeah, okay. Because again, they're trying to make news, and you know what isn't news? Justin Fields can go for a 3rd and a 4th. You're like, okay. But if Justin Fields can go for a 1, then everybody's like, you gotta. We knew that wasn't gonna happen, right?
Yeah, I was hoping for a 2nd, but that's not even
Me too.
looking like it's a remote
No shot. Not anymore.
possibility.
No way.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to see where this market's headed, and we will continue to pay attention to it. Now, one thing I'd like to point
Denver?
out. Nah, they just got off for Russ.
I know, but now they get a 1 more year rookie contract with the guy to try out.
Yeah, but they
Who's
got
starting there outside of that?
Stidham. Maybe they draft JJ or Penix or one of those guys that they really like. Because what? They're
I
like
hope they draft JJ and Sean Payton just sucks with him.
What's with the Sean Payton hate?
It's not that I hate him. It's just that I think he's overrated because of Drew Brees.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
We talked about this last week. I disagree 100%.
We'll see.
But with all of that, I do believe, though, that Justin Fields will be on a new team next year. Now,
wow. Crazy.
shut up. It just depends. Do they keep him through training camp?
It'll be tough. People are going to want him.
We'll see. I would almost say wait through the injury, just sit him on the bench, just say, hey, don't even bother showing up to camp. We'll trade you when the time's right.
Let someone Aaron Rodgers themselves and try from there.
Kinda. It's kind of like, I think that's how you get the most value for him. But maybe there's a king's ransom that comes on draft day.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I'd like to bring up is that the Chicago Bears are missing a mark somewhere else. And that is the most recent news that they are going to stay on the lakefront property in the city.
Call me when it's done.
And they plan on investing $2 billion of their own money in that lakefront property.
Go ahead.
And I am fucking lost. I am blown away as to what that thinking of Kevin Warren in this management group is. It's impractical when you just bought 300 acres in Arlington Heights. And I don't know if this is a ploy or a smokescreen, but I'm
That's
sorry.
what it is. I swear to God.
How?
I'm
Vince? How?
I'm at the point now where they're trying to leverage themselves both ways. They're like, the city, if we say we're going to leave, then they're going to give us money. And the city's like, no. And they're like, okay, well, we're not. And then Arlington Heights is like, we're going to tax you a lot. And they're like, well, we're just going to go back to the city. And they go back to the city's like, we're not giving you money for this shit. Like, literally over and over again. It's going to be this all the time. And you want to know what's going to happen? They're going to do something else to Soldier Field to make it look a little prettier and then move on for the next fucking 10 years. I'm so sick of this shit. I get asked by everybody I know, even football fans that aren't football fans, like, what are the Bears going to do? I'm like, they're just put you on a leash and dragging your ass along until they figure out that they're just going to go with their original plan. That's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to end up building in Arlington Heights, and everything's going to be beautiful, because you want to know what they can't do is fucking tear down Soldier Field and build a new one in an off season.
Well, no, they're not going to do that. And granted, the game plan is, I
Where are they
think,
gonna
by
play?
2027,
Allstate Arena?
2027, 2030, I think could be the thought process. Just talking out loud. Okay.
Northwestern?
Maybe.
Wrigley? Back to Wrigley?
Maybe.
That'd be fun as fuck.
I'm not saying that. But what I am getting at is they plan on building the location off-site of Soldier Field, which is property more so due south. Now,
yeah, but they're going to
mind
use that lot, though.
Maybe.
What else are they gonna do
Granted,
with
Soldier Field lost its historical property value
Yeah.
about 10 years ago when they did the first remodel, which was
Which
absolute
is such
horseshit.
a fucking stupid rule to be doing.
But how could you consider staying on the lakefront when you have 300 acres that you could develop into megaplex, that you could develop into entertainment districts, a Bears Hall of Fame, all this shit to host revenue in and out of the season that you're going to continuously make funds from?
Well, having a team in the city is the number one
It
attraction.
does. Okay. Are we really going to get into this? I mean, do the Los Angeles Rams play in downtown
Did you hear
LA?
what I said? Number one attraction. If they can get all the shit that they want to done in that area, that's the best option for them. The problem is what do they actually want to do? Because you have parking issues, you don't have any infrastructure outside of it to go to right.
Any of it.
So unless they can fix that, then they should leave the city. But if they can make that happen and stay in the city, I'm sure they would do that.
I mean, I think Arlington Heights is the best of both worlds.
I do too, but
Simply
I also think
because there's a
trains,
literal
man.
train line that runs through the front door of the property.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be a wonderful location, and I'm dating myself, by the name of Arlington Park. And at Arlington Park, you would watch horses race. It was a great time.
It was good.
Yeah, you could go drop some money on some ponies.
You're not aging yourself
a
that
little
much. It's
bit.
only been down for a couple years.
Smoke a cigar, enjoy with
Yeah.
your friends. It was a wonderful location.
Owned by the
They
same
tore it all
people
down.
as Churchill Downs.
Yep, and Churchill Downs said, we're out, and they knocked that son of a gun down.
See ya.
But a train line ran through that location, and you could get there from the northwest suburbs of Illinois, or you could get there from the city quite easily. A train would run every hour on the hour, go in each direction, and boom, you're done.
Yeah, it's easy.
It would be ideal. It would be ideal for city dwellers. It would be ideal for anybody who's a Bears fan.
It's easier physically for me to leave the city, get on a train, and get off at Arlington than it is to get to Soldier Field. That's in the city.
Right.
Doesn't that sound
Right.
that's so ass backwards? So no, I'm with you, but I'm saying if they can figure out traffic issues and they can get some stuff around there where it's fun to hang out in that area, then that's great, but they won't be able to. But it is easier for me to get to Arlington Heights than it is to Soldier Field. It's fucking insane.
There is really nothing in that part of the world that, I don't know.
It's a
I guess-
boring ass area, man. There's like 3 bars, and then like there's a Soldier Field, there's a couple museums, and then you move right back into the city. You walk half a mile to a mile, and then you're back into the city. It's fucking crazy.
There's no easy points of egress in or out. Parking is $1 million. Either you're spending a full day to go to and from the city. It's like when I lived in Chicagoland and people were like, oh, I got Bears tickets. You want to go on Sunday? It's like, no.
No, it's
I'll watch
20 degrees.
Even in August or September, when it's semi-appropriate to go to a game,
Yeah.
it's a pain in the dick because it's a full day of travel.
Also, get the dome. I don't give a fuck. I don't
Get a
care
dome.
about bear weather. Fuck off. Like, I want it to be nice and temperate, and I know that people are going to get mad about that, and Green Bay's going to be like, ha, 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 it's still cold here. Get a dome, man. It's 2024. This isn't 1955 or 60 anymore. Like, I get that it's fun, but just get a fucking dome. It's easier. It's just better.
The revenue of having a facility that can generate revenue year in and year out.
And you can
and
have
it doesn't matter if they're
all season.
You can have anything. College football, college basketball, concerts,
XFL.
whatever. Super Bowl, XFL. Look
Super
at us.
Bowl.
Super Bowl. Now, XFL, which XFL talk or now UFL talk is coming, people.
Oh, yeah.
And we are going to have the Wheel of Death for that coming up. And if you made it this far, we appreciate you.
Next week is brackets. Next week is wheels. We're doing all the shit next week.
Next week is going to be jazzed up.
Yeah.
Mike will have a meal in him and be ready to rock
He's
and
gonna eat.
roll.
What
He's
a
going to
guy.
eat, probably be down a few LBs, but it'll be beautiful.
I like that.
Always, you know the drill. If you'd like to send us an email at taxisquadpod7@gmail.com, please do so. We'd love to hear your feedback. If you are listening on Spotify, please make sure you download this on any other platform. Do the same. And on YouTube, hit that bell, subscribe, and show your boys some love. And you can see these beautiful fotches week in and week out. Many things to come. Much more content along the way. As always, share with your brother, share with your sister, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.